Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Question Mark. we have quite a few topics today to go over, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. Just to give you guys a preview, the first one is going to be aspirational content, new uniques, delve rework, awaken gem buffs, very cool, unveiling rework, and then a minor note on the forbidden Shako that I marked down, but that probably doesn't need to be its own topic. So let's just keep going, jumping right into it. What are your guys' thoughts on the aspirational content? So talking specifically to the new Blight maps, the new Delirium, Simulacrum, the new Breaches, the new Breach Stones, and the new Legion emblems. What are you guys' thoughts on those?
This is absolutely crazy. I really like the idea of having aspirational content, something to strive towards. But I've played many builds in my PoE playtime, and there are still some times that I fail blighted maps. I still sometimes struggle with Wave 20 Simulacrum. So this is on a whole new level. I am really excited about this. I'll be honest. I usually your goals that you set for yourself it's to achieve a certain amount of currency or to farm up for an item. I want to be able to do a Blight Ravaged T16 map. Or not even T16, sorry, they're I-85. I want to be able to complete one of those. So I am very excited, but it's going to be hard, right? This type of content is going to be very, very hard. I really do hope that the rewards match the difficulty. How do you feel about them, Lolcohol?
Yeah, I'm super stoked for it. The main thing I'm really excited about and hopeful of is the impact on the economy. Hopefully it kind of trickles down. I know Grimro's spoken about this before, about how having that really high-end content that maybe only 1% of players could do, even though they're the only ones who could do it, it has such a positive impact on the economy because more uniques are being found, more scarabs are being found, everything's being found and then distributed throughout the economy. So I'm stoked. I'm not sure if if I care about it in terms of like I want to be able to do that, but just in terms of the economy, I think it's going to be a great change for all Path of Exile players.
Definitely. I wonder whether what the difficulty threshold is actually going to be. Where does this, if I'm trying to place this within current difficulty ranges, with something like the Feared being considered extremely difficult, like pretty much the top of the mark, right? Where does that land? Right? Where does a new blighted or a new ravaged blight map land within that? Is it going to be harder than that? I mean, it's a totally different type of content, right? So it's maybe hard to place because you're fighting 4 really really hard bosses or 5 really hard bosses at once versus a bunch of kind of more like akin to like a map. I don't know. It's like I wonder how hard these really are going to be. I'm going to want to do the hell out of them, no doubt about that. I want to do so many of them. Legion 1 is probably the least exciting to me. It's hard to... I wish that was maybe 25%. It's really hard to gauge. What is 10%? What does 10% more rewarding mean?
I don't know about that one, right? Because when you do a Legion 5-way, you're resetting like every 5 seconds or something like that. So
yeah, a lot.
These monsters are getting like 500% more life throughout the course of a map or like 1,000% more. I don't know if it's going to be worth it or are people just going to do it for the XP? I don't know. Gonna have to wait and see for that one. But maybe it's just a test, right?
I'm also curious to see the place of the new Legion endgame because 5-ways currently they're the go-to thing for XP, right? But with the changes to Aurabot and these new crazy scaling 5-ways, I don't think 5-ways necessarily are going to be the go-to for XP. Maybe not the way that we currently have it, where you just pay your 2x and you stand still, you do nothing. So I am curious about how the rewards scale, as you guys say. Because if the rewards aren't the reason that you do the new Uber 5-way, I think you're going to die so often that I don't think it's going to be the go-to for XP. So that one is sort of weird to me. For the Blight Ravaged maps, I am very, very curious to see how we're going to deal with 10 I-85 bosses approaching you at the same time. Like, you are going to need such an amazing build to be able to deal with a clear and all these bosses at the same time. So the Blight, I think that's the one that I'm the most excited for, the Blight Ravaged maps. But Delirium as well, right? The Delirium, I think current Wave 20 Deliriums, or Simulacrum at least, is I-75, 100% Delirium. I think that's currently what a Wave 20 Simulacrum is like in terms of difficulty. So I'm curious to see how it scales up until Wave 30, as you said, Omisid. it might be very, very intense to do. But I'm
It's gonna
excited
be
nonetheless, right?
Super hard. It's going to be
It is.
crazy
It
hard.
is.
Like in Delirium League, getting to wave 20.
Yeah.
Holy crap. It was so nuts. Does it really only go up to monster level 75 at wave 20?
I thought it was higher than that. Maybe
I
not.
think I might be mistaken, but I think wave 20 Simulacrum is eye level 75, 100% delirium. 100% delirious. I might be wrong, but I think
right.
that's the difficulty.
Yeah.
Mm,
But
yeah.
wave 30 is going to be on
It's
another
crazy,
level.
right?
Oh, I was just thinking about blighted maps, right? I mean, what if that's a new leveling meta, right? Because it's an I-85 zone. There's going to be tons of monsters, and it's the kind of content you could just stand there in the middle, upgrading towers, while some dude runs around killing. I mean, I think that would be pretty funny, right? If blighted maps are the new 5-way legion.
That'd be
I doubt
interesting.
it.
I mean, it's like if blighted maps, if these new ravaged blighted maps become super meta for, like, let's say that becomes, the way to make money, right? They have really, really good rewards. I feel like minion builds are going to be so popular, right? Because I mean, that's who's running it right now, is people just AFK minion builds current blight maps. So I wonder, I'd wonder if that's even going to be strong enough, though. I don't know. It's really, again, that difficulty threshold is not clear yet. I think that's going to be kind of the important thing to wage is, do I need to be in the absolute top of the top to be able to run this, or can sort of like a more middle of the road build pull something like this off with the right skill? I don't know. Yeah, you're shaking your head no, Lolcohol.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that's why it's exciting, right? We have no idea.
Yeah.
We have no
Oh,
idea.
yeah.
Whereas a lot of the current end game Uber content is, you know what you need to do to get through it, right?
Yeah.
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 I mean, whether it's going to be easy to farm at some point or something that's difficult regardless of how powerful your build is, it does give us access to some of the new uniques that we've seen.
Yes.
And my oh my, am I excited to get my hands on some of these. How do you guys feel
Understatement.
about them? Like, is there a way to describe this? Every single, when Chris said no bad uniques in 3.16,
Yeah.
I said to myself, sure, Chris, sure,
Yeah.
we'll see about that one. But man, did they deliver? What's your favorite one? If you had to pick one unique, do you guys have a favorite? I think personally, to give you guys some time to talk or to think about this one, the amulet that allows you to have multiple anoints.
Yeah.
I think that is such an interesting piece because of how flexible it is for so many builds. If you're a power charge stacker, well, now you don't need to do the standard line at the top. This is now my pathing for my tree. You can now just anoint all your power charges, right? If you're doing attribute stacking, you now have a ton of attributes from this amulet. So I'm really excited about the amulet. But the rest looks so good as well.
I was going to say, I'll pick the cop-out answer. That belt is disgusting. That belt
True,
is disgusting. I mean, if you don't recognize the power of that belt, let me illustrate this for you. It's like, imagine you are cheating in Path of Exile and you turned on God mode. That's pretty much what it is. That's pretty much how it feels. It's kind of like, the thing is, Headhunter is amazing, right? Headhunter is a super powerful belt, but Headhunter requires a bit of wind up. You have to kind of kill a bunch of things. For example, in the new Legion, Headhunter, I don't even think you can get away with using the new Legion without Headhunter. It's just not really feasible, because if you want a lot of loot, of course, that is. Because you benefit so much from killing tons of rares, right? Whereas this new belt is, slap that on any character and it is filthy. It is absolutely filthy, getting all those flasks up all the time. I mean, I wish I had it offhand, but somebody made a kind of mix and match sheet of, these are the buffs that you can get with that belt all at the same time. And it's, basically it takes off the huge pressure from your gear, right? You can get tons of resistances. You can get insane movement speed. I mean, you can basically build it enables an entirely new type of character, pretty much. You can become a full glass cannon on your character, and then your flasks are picking up all the work, essentially.
That's true. And for bossing, right? Like,
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about running out of flask charges at all. It's ridiculously strong.
It's nuts. It's nuts. I wonder how rare it will be. I really do. That's the question, right? Is anybody going to find this belt this league?
No.
Is it going to be like a mirror? I don't know.
But I reckon it's going to be like Headhunter rarity, right?
Yeah,
You think?
Same.
Yeah.
but we don't have div cards for it, so that's something to
Not
take
yet.
into consideration as well. Yeah, not yet. Definitely not yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Man,
But that
belt is
amulet,
sick.
The amulet is really cool, and I think something that's interesting about it is probably the meta is going to be to get your anoints on it because it can have up to 4, right? And then vol it and hope that it bricks, which is so counterintuitive because if it bricks into a rare, then suddenly it gets modifiers. So, I mean, if you brick that thing and suddenly it's got like 80 life and resistance or whatever, or if you double corrupt it, you could brick it into a influence rare. Suddenly you've got this thing that could be absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, it's like not going to happen, but if you have 5,000 people doing it, maybe one might end up with this mirror tier amulet with like, well, it'll be mirror tier because it's got 4 anoints and other modifiers. But I love items like that are so flexible and can be used in so many ways. It's like Watcher's Eyes are a chase item. They can be terrible or they could be bad, but this is almost like a controlled Watcher's Eye, if you know what I mean. Like you can just, it's malleable. You can do whatever you want with it. So excellent.
And not to hype the belt up even more, but this is perfect with the belt because with Mageblood, excuse me, I'll just use its name, because the belt is going to take so much pressure off of your gear that you can afford to use an amulet like that, right? Where it doesn't have really any benefit to you otherwise, right? The stats are nil. It's just the passives that you're getting. Because otherwise, that's a pretty hard thing to make up, right? You know, you're losing life, you're losing resistances, you're losing other potential stats as well, depending on the amulet, right? So it's just the combination of those two is just magnificent. It's amazing. God, I want it so badly. I want to play with it.
I hadn't even considered the fact that you can just anoint so many flask effect notables on the amulet and then just have a standard tree, and then this amazing belt, the Mageblood, that is already so good, just becomes giga juice now. So yeah, even the 7-link amulet, I kind of like. Yeah. Being able to make a 7th link in your chest piece is such a unique thing to PoE. I mean, all of these uniques, they're so good. I'm really happy about the uniques.
Yeah, that Uul-Netol's, and it's got a ton of resistance on it. Like, not only is it, you now have a 7 link, and you can use Corrupted and Awakened gems in it, as far as I understand. So a 7 link with, 120-ish resistance on it? So good. Yeah. They took on board, I think Zzz and a lot of people push for having chase uniques.
For sure.
Because every other league is just like rubbish or... I don't know, just like nothing to get excited about. But now it's like, man, if I find a Mageblood, I'm going to be rich. And all my friends are going to be like wanting to just try it out. They're going to be like, please, can I use your Mageblood for one map? I just want to know how it feels. Yeah. We'll make a pact now. If anyone finds a Mage's Blood,
we can try it. Well, I got to try it. Yeah.
True. Okay.
That's the kind of... I'm in. That's a chase unique, right? It's the kind of thing your friend has it. You just want to know what it feels like to use it. And we haven't had uniques added like that for so long. So it's going to be crazy
excited when I'm past the Mageblood and I mysteriously disappear.
Defriended, muted.
Defriended, yeah. Blocked everywhere. Yeah, very, very cool on the unique side. What are you guys' thoughts on the gloves? The gloves are kind of interesting. They're a little bit more up in the air than the other ones, in my opinion. And the other ones, you kind of look at them and you're like, okay, there's obvious power here.
Yeah.
The gloves are kind of unique in that way. What were your guys' thoughts?
It's hard to envision a use for the gloves in the first place. But an interesting one that I heard was using your AEG and then stacking Quant gear on your Animate Guardian. And so if you then kill monsters, your Animate Guardian's item quantity and rarity should apply to the drops, but that's really the only one that I heard about that. I couldn't even think of something that I would want to use them for myself, but it's still a very interesting concept.
The thing that's confusing about it is we've never had the word anyone on a piece of gear before. So we don't know what is anyone. Is it totems? Is it minions? Or does it only account as players, allies? Because if it's anyone and it means like minions, I've heard people talking about there's some what is it? It's like an axe or some two-handed weapon that if you get a kill with this item, you get an animate weapon spawns. I forget what it's called, but the idea is that you use that and then your animate weapons summon more animate weapons. I'll try find the item for us, but I think there's just a lot of weird things that people probably haven't thought of yet. And it's something different. It's interesting. You look at it and you're like, wow, that's a really cool, unique item, right?
Yeah, it's also on the sort of the word, the verbiage note. I thought it was interesting. The use of the word instead was kind of interesting in the sense that like,
Yeah.
let's say we're all running in a party, and what if we're all three using these gloves? How do the kills count? I don't really understand. You know what I mean? Because it's saying if it's instead, theoretically it's replacing, right? So if I was wearing the gloves and you killed something, it would count for me. But what if we're both wearing the gloves? Then what happens? You know, it's I don't know.
Oh,
I just, and maybe I'm thinking about this too much, but I was kind of curious about that because it didn't make inherent sense to me for party play. Granted, I don't know the situation in which, the only situation I can see this being an issue is if you're trying to understand how these work. But
yeah.
it is something I thought about. I'm curious because this is kind of a verbiage. It needs some clarification, I'll say. It needs some clarification.
I suspect what's going to happen is like a week into the league, someone's going to leak something on Reddit and be like, "Hey, we're abusing this item," and then Path of Exile.
Yeah.
I mean, GG is going to patch it out really quickly because it's something, right? There's got to be something that's just really busted that no one's thought about.
Yeah, I know people are also kind of hyper focused on the use of nearby because nearby has meant so many different things. Also questionable, who knows? But
Yeah, they could be trash.
So in this vein of overpowering items and all that, they awaken gem buffs. Oh, I was so happy to see that. As somebody who loves farming Cyrus,
Yes.
oh man, I was so happy to see that. This was overdue for sure.
Again, that falls into chase, right?
Yeah, I love all the +1 levels. I love the exposure. So many nice things that you want to work into your build. If you're a spellcaster, you want plus levels of your spell. If you're an attack-based character, you'd want Intimidate, maybe Crushed. I love that this is now accessible via still a high-level Awaken Gem, right? Getting a level 5 Awaken Gem isn't something that just happens overnight. This requires some investment. I'm really happy about this. I really am. I'm sad about the Awakened Hextouch. Awakened Hextouch is still not the powerhouse that it used to be. But as for the rest of them, I am very happy about the changes.
Yeah. Hextouch was so nice. Oh man.
Yeah. Man, the additional curse. I miss it.
I look back on my old, occasionally I'll do like a standard gamble and I'll go over to my old character and I've got an Awakened Hextouch and it's just sad to look at. It's just sad.
Someone gave me one this league. They were just like, I don't want my gear anymore, take it. And there was a level 5 Awakened Hextouch and I vialed it and I hit level 6 and I was just like,
if only.
One league too late.
If only. Yeah.
If only.
The ultimate slap in the face.
Yeah. Oh man.
On a similar, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I love it. I love the changes to that because also it brings back some chase to Cyrus, right? Because this league, there was still value in it. There was still some like really valuable gems, but now there's way more. So going for that Cyrus kill, oh man, it'll feel great, and it'll encourage you also to stick with a character for longer because I feel like what happens, especially when you're min-maxing, right? There's not many more paths of feeling this, how do I put it? Like when you're going through the campaign, there's constantly a sense of progression and like you're upgrading your gear, you're getting a new piece of gear and you can feel the difference. But when you're like level 90, when you get level 91, it's like, I get an extra point, maybe you get a new piece of gear, it feels good. But this is like a long-term goal. And when you hit it at the end, you're really going to feel that little spike of power, especially if you got like 5, 6, 7 of these in your character. It's going to feel really good. Something to aspire toward.
You're also certainly a lot more incentivized to spec into the Uncharted Atlas passage mode that gives you more support gems from Cyrus. I spec'd into that a long time ago a long time ago at this point, but when they first came out with them in 3.13, I was like, this is nuts. If you love farming Cyrus, so nice. And then they nerfed it and I was like, well, now I don't feel good about doing it, but now I feel great about it again. So it's all good. It's all good. Moving on to the next topic here on the list is the Unveiling Rework. Now, somewhat smaller in terms of the actual change. It's not groundbreaking here, but it is a fantastic quality of life here, especially just for people who maybe don't run a lot of betrayal content. Me personally, I run a lot of betrayal content. I almost have all the unlocks every league, regardless, but this will just save time. It also comes with sort of the changing of the recipe locations, right? obviously there's the big ones that had to change with map being removed that had recipes, those had to get shifted, but also the other side of it, right, is sort of the rarer the rarer crafts, things like multi-mod, etc. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
sNyZZz?
Oh well, as someone who has to rely on either Lolcohol or other friends to usually do my meta crafts for me, because I can't believe that I have to go get them every league. I love this. This is so good for me. I absolutely love this. Early on, paying for the fragments or even the prophecies to go get the standard meta crafting craft, it's a big investment early. It really is. Especially into a new league. Like week 1, having to give away a few X just for a few crafts that already costs Exalted Orbs themselves is kind of hard. So I absolutely love this. The Unveiling change, where you only have to find one item to unveil and you unlock all the tiers, I don't have words. I love that. The minus mana craft on my rings and amulets, I can do them now. I don't have to pester other people. I am very, very happy about this. I feel like this has been something that we've wanted for a long time. I do think it puts the Pale Court in kind of like a weird spot though, because is there a reason to do that now? Their uniques were kind of subpar if I have to think about their uniques now. But yeah, maybe they did mention that they're thinking about removing prophecy at some point. So maybe this is how they slowly but surely remove the grasp that prophecy has on the current game. How do you feel about the crafting changes, Local? As someone who is just a crafter at heart, who crafts great items.
I agree with you. I love it. I also am like Omisid, where I actually will do some betrayal to farm the unlocks just so I don't have to bother my friends. But I think it's great. And the big ones.
Oh no.
Just like the thing that really annoyed me were the small little crafts, which we're not now going to find in maps. So things like 2 link sockets or 1 red, 1 green socket color. You used to have to go into Delve to find those, and it was always weird. Like you could go on your crafting bench and hover over it, and it was like found in this exact node in Delve. And then you would go to that node. It was like in the Azurite cavern in Delve. You go find that, and it wasn't there. And then you have to go find another one, and it wasn't there. I don't know if it like spawned randomly, but the fact that we're going to find link recipes and socket recipes and color recipes in maps, that's just such a nice quality of life change for all of us.
Oh, 100%.
Since you talked about Delve, how good is the Delve catch-up? I mean, this isn't something that needs a lot of talking about, but how great is that? I so often skip delving, and then when I'm late into maps, I realize, oh no, I haven't delved at all because I've been blasting to set up my atlas. Now I'm doing level 80 plus content, but I need to go do Y tier map below Y tier map delving nodes just to catch up, and it feels like wasted time just catching up. So I love the delve changes, the delve catch up. It's amazing. I love it.
It's great.
100% agree. Yeah, it's when Delve came out, it was at the time it was my favorite league. I loved doing Delve. And then since then I've kind of gone in and out of favor with Delve. Some leagues I will completely skip it. I will get the crafts that I need to get, and then I'll just skip it the rest of the time. But then last league and the league before, I don't know what changed, but I was like, I'm going in on Delve, and this is just going to save me so much time in the front end. Like you're saying, it's just such a nice thing. It's one of those things where you're like, it's like you can just sigh relief. It's no one can complain about having. If you want to go back and do the low tier content, by all means, go ahead and do it. But especially if you're at that level, right? If you're doing Delve alongside with your character progression, then maybe it makes more sense, right? But if you just want to skip and wait, there's no complaints there. They said so T13 nice. At level 90, so that's really good. That's really good.
Such a nice change, and I think there's now an incentive to do it because I've also had that feeling where I want to delve, and then you start delving, and you're like, I have to go through 2 hours of delving just to get to the right level, and then you kind of just go, I'm not going to do this. This is boring. I'll rather just go do some maps instead. So this, on top of that, we're getting better rewards. Like some of the nodes they showed us, was it for a boss? And it's like Delve boss drops 17 more fossils and things like that.
It's massive. I love that.
It's so cool. There's like an incentive to do it because even now they said that they wanted to gate certain league mechanics behind, or not league mechanics, league rewards behind that specific league mechanic. So they said you will find more fossils in Delve, but you didn't, right? Even last league, you found fossils from expeditions and other stuff, whereas now you might actually be able to go into Delve and kill a boss and just walk out with tons of fossils.
Yeah, the resonators as well, right? The changes to resonators, how good is that? Now, if I want to craft something and I need Delve, resonators, and fossils, that doesn't just mean I have to go to the bulk section of PoE trade. I actually now can maybe consider farming for them myself. So I really like the changes to Delve as well. The catch-up and the rewards. The rewards alone would have made me Delve regardless of catch-up.
Yeah.
Agreed. And then just a quick note on other sort of past league content changes is the harvest quality of life change, and also the switching of Replica Forbidden Shako has been removed from the game, and normal Forbidden Shako is now Replica Forbidden Shako. Personally, harvesting, easy. What's not to like? It's just pure quality of life. It just saves you from having to bounce back and forth between your stash, and it also just gives you a lot more flexibility there. The Forbidden Shako move, as somebody who did, dumped, I think it was like 1,500 divines into Replica Forbidden Shakos this league. It should be an accessible item. Everyone should have a chance to use this. It's so fun. It's easily one of the coolest items in the game. It was such a bummer that it cost like 160x last league to get the base. And
really?
Yeah, it was really
just
expensive.
The base.
Yeah. About a month ago, it was 160x. And then at the beginning of the league, it was maybe closer to 100x, which is still really expensive.
Yeah.
And now that you can kind of target farm this a bit, you can go into the harvest boss, and I mean, you can buy the piece, the map device, right? Or the basically the harvest map, and just go in there and do it. So you can farm it. I don't know how rare it's going to be, but you could theoretically farm it. I would have to imagine that's going to bring the price down, or the price of the harvest boss going to go way up. One of the two.
Yeah, the harvest boss was already so crazy expensive. I really do hope that Ushabi is more common now. On the note of the Forbidden Shako, I absolutely loved the replica Forbidden Shako, which is now being changed to the normal Forbidden Shako. I love it. It has the same sort of RNG as a Watcher's Eye. You would just, if you wanted Ice Bite, for example, that's the biggest one. If you wanted Ice Bite, you're going to spend a few exalts on trying to get Ice Bite. But if you just dropped one of those helmets, and maybe you have 3 or 4 divines, you never know what you can hit. And I think people are so fixed on Ice Bite and Spell Totem that I think people miss some very, very interesting combos. But since the barrier of entry to actually even trying something with that helmet was 100 plus 160x, no one even tried. I accidentally rolled over an Ice Bite last league, not knowing how it interacts with divines. So I bricked an Ice Bite replica Forbidden Shako last league. Yeah, that happened to me. But as I was trying to fix what I had done, I hit a few really interesting Forbidden Shakos, but I couldn't stop there because it just wasn't the best way to use the helmet. Everyone wanted Ice Bite. So I really do like this change. This is an amazing unique, and I do think that it should be more accessible. I love it.
Yeah. Because, I mean, what other good drops were there from Ushabi? Was there anything?
The staff was horrible.
Yeah,
so you would use the staff.
Yeah.
I mean, regular
Shako
to
unlock the 5 slots, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What does a regular one do?
It was before it was so the current one, or the replica that's becoming the new one, it's one support between 1 and 10, and one support I think between 25 and 35 is what it was, right? And the other one, the original, was both were between 15 and 25.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's just I mean, once you get to the level 35 gem, support gem power level, it scales like crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody posted when I did the first one after I rolled over a level 35 decay, what the math was on a level 35 decay, and it's astounding. It's literally astounding how big the difference is.
Yeah, anything that adds any sort of flat value that's not necessarily a percentage upgrade is massive when you take it to gem level 35. It's really good.
Exactly. But all in all, great changes there. Anyway, I think that's all we had for today's episode. Just want to thank you guys again. Thanks for doing this as a group. It's been really fun. Lolcohol, you want to? I guess I won't make the mistake again where I say, "Where are you?" and then you say, "Right here." But we can do around the room anyway. Lolcohol, do you want to start it off?
Yeah, you can check me out here and on twitch.tv/Lolcohol. Omisid, where can we find you?
I am on YouTube at Omisid and streaming, like I said, once every every 3 to 4 months. It feels maybe more of a sleek. I don't know. I got the face cam going now. I'm kind of like getting in the groove. We'll see. But yeah, that's where I am.
And you guys can find me at /sNyZZzzz on Twitch and on YouTube. Thank you, everyone. This was fun. I really had a blast.
Yeah. We still got much more to talk about, but I will catch you guys in the next episode.
Yes.
Awesome.
Bye.
All right.
Cool.
Cheers.
See ya.
Divine power! Divine power! It's branching exile. You're making me nervous.